Greetings and felicitations, everyone. My name is Felix.
And I am Fab Fox, and welcome to Low Blows and OwOs, the show where furries talk about wrestling, because that makes so much sense.
And we are one day removed from possibly the best episode of AEW Dynamite I've seen so far.
I would say it is definitely up there for sure. I had as Simon Miller puts it, I had a rollicking good time. And man, it's just a lot happened. There was a lot. We'll get into it, but just a lot of really cool stuff has been happening in wrestling lately. Over AEW, WWE, just it's despite the weirdness that this year has been, we've gotten some really fucking good wrestling out of it.
We really have. Crowds or no crowds, wrestling always shines through.
Yeah. Also, can I say, I know that people may not like WWE a whole lot right now, but I think they did fantastic with their Thunderdome. Like, it's fucking cool, dude.
Feel the thunder. Feel the thunder.
Yeah, I really, really like the Thunderdome. It's really cool seeing, like, it's to the point where, like, I keep hearing news about WWE really trying hard to get live crowds in for the Royal Rumble, and I'm like, I don't really want them to. I kind of want to see the Rumble in the Thunderdome.
or at the very least, treat it as how AEW are doing it with, like having like social distancing and testing their audience members before having them in here.
Yeah, I feel like AEW has been doing really well. I got this really well with their safety precautions, so that's cool. Anyway, so yeah, winter is coming. AEW Dynamite. Holy fuck, dude. Man, where do we?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, where do we even start with this?
Okay, so all right, let's actually before I start fanboying like crazy, let's get into what happened on the show. So the show starts out with a winter theme version of the intro. I guess the winter is coming is like a Game of Thrones type of thing, or
it's very much an overt Game of Thrones reference.
I tried Side note: I tried watching Game of Thrones. Like, I got through like a few episodes of the first season. I just kind of meh.
I can't watch it because it's so icky.
It's not, for me, it's just boring, which is surprising because all like fantasy oriented stuff, I'm into that shit. But the acting was, I mean, it's not like the acting was bad. It's just it didn't really grab my attention.
And I'm sure you're not alone. I will say I've never seen Game of Thrones all the way through. Like, I haven't even been able to sit down and watch one episode just because it makes me feel icky. But I do really like Maisie Williams. I think the scenes that I've seen of her in that show, she did pretty well. So kudos to Maisie Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yes, wintry themed opening, and the show immediately started with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, which I was actually super, super happy that they were doing that again, because I remember when they did it last year, when MJF, it was MJF and Hangman Page were the two that quote unquote won the Battle Royal, and MJF ultimately won the ring. But I thought it was going to be just a one and done thing, and I was a little bit disappointed just, to give MJF that gaudy ring to flaunt around, and because like it really added to his character. Like they really incorporated it into his dickishness well. Mm-hmm. But now that they've it seems like they're going to be doing it on an annual basis, which I think is cool because it's not quite defended like a championship title, but it's also not. It also wasn't made specifically for MJF, you know?
Yeah, it's like bragging rights for a full year, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's cool, and so that was really good. Well, who all was in it? I'm trying to think. I know that the people that were advertised, it was Matt Sydal, which, oh my god, we could talk about Matt Sydal. I'm so happy that he is in AEW.
Yep. Sean Spears, Scorpio Sky, Matt Hardy, Private Party, who, by the way, apparently, I don't know why this happened, but Matt Hardy eliminated one half of Private Party. Like, why would you do that? You're managing for him, aren't you?
I don't think it was supposed to happen. I really honestly truly think that it was a botch because first of all, it didn't even happen like mainly focused on the camera. Like it almost happened off camera, which you know, Isaiah Cassidy, you know, and Private Party, they're pretty decently high up on the card. So them getting eliminated, I feel would have at least had a focused camera shot of it happening. I feel like Isaiah Cassidy might have just slipped and fell, and they can't really go back now. Like it would have been kind of like in the 2011 Royal Rumble when Alex Riley slipped and got eliminated, just something like that, you know.
He still goes on about how John Cena pretty much kept him from gaining any momentum. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's really hard to say. Like, you know, John Cena has done some really great things in you know, in his life in wrestling and even out for the community and stuff. But I mean, backstage politics really is pretty heavy in wrestling, and especially in WWE. And you know, John Cena during his time was the top of the top. So I mean, and it's not unheard of. Like Randy Orton did it with Kofi Kingston. It's just, you know, and I don't know. I feel like it's pretty viable if it were to have happened.
Right. But moving back, we also had
back to Dynamite.
Yep. Starting to go off on that tangent. We also had Orange Cassidy of
Best Friends.
Yep. I mean, is he actually part of that? I mean, I know he hangs out with him, but is he like considered like a best friend, or is that just Chuck and Trent?
I think he is part of Best Friends. They're just, the team is mainly wrestles as just Chuck and Trent. Right. But I mean, because like Orange Cassidy is featured in a lot of Best Friends merch. Mm-hmm. So, and they have all wrestled together as one big group quite a few times. So yeah,
they might even be contenders for the for the possible triple tag champs that Kenny has advertised inadvertently.
Yeah, I honestly, I really hope that becomes a thing because I haven't really been able to watch wrestling shows that have featured that. And I know a couple promotions has. I think ROH has one, and there's one in Japan somewhere. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, and honestly, I think Orange Cassidy would have been wrestling with Chuck and Trent a lot more if he did not have that big feud with Chris Jericho, which broke him out into a single star.
Oh yeah, I mean he could definitely go it alone if he wanted to.
He is so good. Like I don't think I could gush about Orange Cassidy enough. Like the fact that he took this character that I don't think would work anywhere outside of the indies, and he's just made it into like one of the biggest and most popular wrestling characters today. It's just amazing, and he deserves absolutely all the credit.
What's really great about Orange Cassidy is how unpredictable he is. Like,
he really is.
Like at any moment he could just like boom,
Orange Punch,
or as I like to call it, the fruit punch.
I do like the fruit punch.
Why they don't call it that, I don't know. Come on, you're missing out.
I know, it's right there.
But whatever.
So this battle royal, we've listed a few. I think I remember seeing Lee Johnson and Serpentico and Luther in there.
Yep, and as well as
the three members of Inner Circle, MJF, Wardlow, and Sammy Guevara,
and Joey Janela,
Joey Janela,
and Miro,
and Miro, and Kip Sabian too.
Oh yeah.
I think that's about all of them. Ultimately, you know, the battle royal did well. Matt Sydal was not in there as long as I wish he was. But
God damn it, Sean Spears.
I know, but
you play a good heel, damn it, so I'll let it slide.
he really does.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, I totally forgot. Fucking Hangman Adam Page and
duh.
like two members of the Dark Order.
Yeah, Silver and Reynolds, they were all in there.
Johnny Hungy.
And that played a really big thing in there too, because a big story within AEW recently has been the Dark Order trying to recruit Adam Page, and that really played heavily into the Battle Royal, because at one point Adam is almost eliminated, but all the members of the Dark Order that were on the outside caught him and put him back on the apron, and then Page gets immediately eliminated on the other side of the ring. But after that, Adam Page follows Dark Order through the heel entrance tube when they leave. So there's
storytelling,
in there.
Very subtle storytelling. I love it.
Exactly, because and what's great about it is that they didn't even like focus the camera on Adam Page leaving. It's just one of those things where like it's almost about blink and you miss it thing. Because it was just like that one still shot, and you just saw him in the background go through the heel tunnel.
Is Brody Lee like out with an injury?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about an injury. I feel like we might have seen something about it, like on Cultaholic or What Culture or something, if he was injured, or Wrestle Talk. Yeah, so Paul Wrestle Talk. Anyway, so I don't know if he's out with an injury. I think he might just be out for personal time, or he might just be out so AEW can like rebuild this mystique around him, because in his not very long time in AEW, he's already had a world championship title story, and he's had a run with the TNT championship. So like right off the bat, he's only been in there a couple months. He's been right there in the main picture. So I think taking time off while still having Dark Order, run around the show, it like helps us kind of forget that he exists, so that when they bring him back, it's like a big impact.
Yeah, because the way Brody runs the Dark Order and the way Evil Uno runs the Dark Order is definitely different.
It's very different.
Like Evil Uno is very calm and collected, while Brody is a bit more aggressive with his approach.
He'll kick your ass.
Yeah. It'll kick if your name is John Silver, especially.
Oh yeah. Also,
there was also a spot. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say this is completely off topic, but can we talk about how since our last episode, both Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon have gotten their first victories in AEW?
Oh yes, they both. And they're both on winning streaks too. Peter Avalon even adopted a new gimmick.
Yeah, and I really like this gimmick too. Pretty Peter Avalon is really funny.
Oh yeah, and it's just glorious. And is Leva Bates gonna continue as the librarian, or is she gonna go to like be Blue Pants or something?
I think she is continuing with the librarian, because right afterwards, her first vignette as a single star, she was still in the library, and in her latest match on Dark this past week, she was still introduced as the librarian, Leva Bates. So I think she's going to stick with the librarian gimmick while Peter Avalon does something else.
That's fine.
Yeah. I feel like Leva Bates was more into the librarian thing than Peter Avalon was anyway. So
I agree. I mean, they even on Being the Elite, they made a joke about that, how Peter wanted to get out of being the librarian. That was a long way back, I think.
Mm-hmm. Like, I really need to start watching Being the Elite more.
You do.
I watched.
They introduced a new title too, like the BTE Championship. And
oh man,
John Silver is the current champion.
How do they win it? Is it like a 24/7 title thing, or what?
It's more like you win it through like a series of challenges.
Gotcha. So it's not like 24/7 title. It's not quite like up, down, down, where it's video games. It's
Trent was the inaugural champion after winning like a tournament of miniature golf.
That's
like
good.
through hotels and wrestling gigs,
Fun.
dailies to be exact. And then John Silver won it after. I'm trying to remember how he won it. Well, he won it. Regardless, then they did the one chip challenge to decide who the next contender was, and it ended up being Trent again. And then last week it was. And then last week, I'm sorry we're going off on a tangent. I'll try to finish this up real quick. The latest challenge was throwing like little packets of mustard into a bowl, like to see who can actually get it in from like a distance. and those things are hard to land properly because they'll fly everywhere.
Yeah, I do appreciate how goofy being the elite is. Anyway, so back to the Battle Royal.
We had one spot where both Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara got eliminated by MJF, and sowing more dissensions between the inner circle, some more of that storytelling.
Yeah, we will get into that. But yeah, ultimately it goes down to the final 5 were MJF, Wardlow, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy, and Orange Cassidy. But Orange Cassidy had been laid out outside by Miro for a good chunk of the latter half of the match. Mm-hmm. So after Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy are up on the corner, which is never a good place to be if you're in a Battle Royal. And MJF comes over and shoves Jungle Boy into Sammy Guevara, and they both fumble down and are eliminated. But of course, MJF being MJF, he's like, "Oh, I didn't do that on purpose. I totally just meant to eliminate Jungle Boy," which all of us sitting at home know that is a heaping load of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And it's ultimately almost like he wants to destroy the inner circle, or just to rob everyone of something they like.
Yeah, I feel like he is planning on overthrowing Chris Jericho as the leader, but we'll get into that. Anyway, so it gets down to MJF and Wardlow in the ring. But one thing I did like about this, because Orange Cassidy was technically still in the match, but MJF and Wardlow realized that instead of being surprised by Orange Cassidy and him coming up from behind and being like, "LOL, you're gone." Wardlow actually goes outside of the ring to fetch Orange Cassidy and bring him back in. And that's when Cassidy goes ham and just starts punching everybody in the face. And then Cassidy ends up eliminating Wardlow. So that means next week it's going to be MJF versus Orange Cassidy for the Diamond Ring.
I really do. Are they going to actually, do you think they're, I'm sorry. Fucking hell. I can't talk. Do you think that they're going to put the ring back on MJF, or do you think Orange is going to saunter around with it?
That is a good question, because I feel like it would make sense if they put it back on MJF, just because like that kind of is a big part of his character. Like he uses that ring to win matches fairly often. But at the same time, I feel like since there's dissension in the inner circle between MJF and Sammy Guevara, especially, I feel like Sammy Guevara might find a way to screw MJF out of the match, and Orange Cassidy would win it. Mm-hmm. So that's what's cool about this, is because like it could go either way.
Absolutely.
But I think it would make more sense to give it back to MJF.
I kind of think so as well. I mean, he just works well with the ring,
Yeah, and it suits him, him holding his pinky out with the ring on it as he's coming through his entrance, like it's good. And then let's see, so that happened, and was Jericho versus Kazarian right after that?
Yes.
Okay, so that is a cool match, because both of them are super grizzled veterans. Mm-hmm. And dude, the match was good throughout, but like freaking both of them are beyond 40 years old. Jericho just turned 50, and they did a fucking flux capacitor, which if some of you watching don't know what a flux capacitor is, the flux capacitor is basically the Spanish Fly. Like Frankie Kazarian used to do it as his finisher, but that was like back in his early TNA days, when he was a lot younger and more agile. Mm-hmm. But these 45 plus year old men are flying off the top rope and it was a pretty good looking flux capacitor too. Like it wasn't janky or anything. That's at least what I thought. And I just, man, these people, I swear, they after so long in the business, they're still just so good.
Always defying the odds.
I know. So the interesting part of this match, though, was at one point, Kazarian locks in the walls of Jericho on Chris. And Chris is like struggling, like, I'm not tapping, suck my ass, whatever.
Was Aubrey Edwards working this match?
Yes,
I thought so. She's always in a Jericho match. Those
two
work so well together.
She's such a good referee. I love Aubrey. Kaz has the walls of Jericho locked in, and MJF comes out, and he's like not threatening, but like he's teasing, throwing in the towel like he did with Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So he's about to do it, and he's playing it off like, "Oh, I don't want you to suffer." Blah, 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 blah. But Jericho's not seeing this; like he's facing away. So then Sammy Guevara comes and snatches the towel away from MJF, being like, "The fuck are you doing?" And then that's when Jericho escapes the hold, and he stands up and he sees Sammy Guevara holding the towel, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" So that was so clever, like, because like not only is MJF like, I feel like it's not quite obvious to in terms of kayfabe, but it's very obvious to the watchers that MJF is trying to turn on Jericho. But it also seems like he's also trying to get Sammy Guevara kicked out of Inner Circle before that happens.
Exactly. It's like kick them both out, and they could probably both turn face.
Yeah. So especially since for a little while Jericho and Sammy were a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just really good storytelling. I'm really enjoying this. But I will say, I think they're coming to a head really quickly, especially after this. Because after Jericho wins the match, he wallops Kazarian with the Judas effect, and 1, 2, 3, that's it. But afterwards, they're in the match. Sammy Guevara and MJF are about to throw hands, like they're about to go, they're about to throw down. And Jericho grabs him out. He's like, "That's enough. This is bullshit." So he says everyone has a week to think about it, and then next week they are having an ultimatum. They are either going to be on the same page and work together, or he is breaking up the Inner Circle. What the hell?
Whew. Boy,
yeah,
that escalated quickly.
I know, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, that really got out of hand.
It's such a good movie.
But it really did escalate so quickly, especially when he joined the Inner Circle. When MJF joined the group immediately, I'm like, damn, he's already causing problems.
Yeah, like MJF joined. I don't even think it was a month ago. When was All Out?
August.
Oh, no, it wasn't All Out. It was Full Gear.
Full Gear was in November. Last month.
Yes, it was last month. November 7th, I think. So yeah, just shy of a month ago, MJF joined the Inner Circle.
And they also had a funny retelling of The Hangover with Baby good. Hornswoggle. What the fuck?
Oh my god, I did not expect that, but I fucking hee-hawed. That was hilarious. So yeah. So we always knew that this was going to lead up to some kind of fracturing or breakup of the Inner Circle, but like here we are, like all of a sudden it's like either you get your shit together or we're breaking up the Inner Circle. It's like, whoa, where did this come from? It seems really early in the storytelling. So that'll be interesting to see what happens next week.
And then we move on to the women's match.
Yes. Hold on. Britt Baker versus Leila Hirsch. That's what it was.
Leila Hirsch. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, give a big fuck you to the AEW crowd in this one for chanting USA to Leila. Like, why is her nationality an issue? Like,
I'm not
wrong with you people?
I don't know.
She's a baby face. What? And Brit's a heel. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't really, honestly, like, I don't really think it was done like in spite, because to be fair, you know, it is the same color of the Russia flag, but Leila Hirsch was wearing red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
But also later on in the match, like as it's getting going, the entire crowd is chanting for Leila. So I don't think it was in direct heat of her. It might just be like this old time wrestling trope. I don't know. Or it might just be the fact that she was wearing red, white, and blue. But I don't think it was meant to be mean or spiteful to Leila herself.
I hope you're right, because that kind of pissed me off a little.
Yeah, I could tell. I was watching the Telegram chat, and then you were like, "Why are they chanting USA?"
Knock that shit off.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't do that when Kakadushita was wrestling Brit. What
the
hell?
Yeah, I
what do you got against Russians?
I was a little worried about that too, but it kind of went away when I started hearing them chanting for Leila, because she was doing really good in that match. So I'm like, okay.
I think the guys on the face side of the crowd were trying to start that chant, and it flowed. So
yeah, it's good. But anyway, the match itself, you know, Britt Baker is great. Leila Hirsch is really good too. Like, I think they're working on signing her. I don't think they've done it yet, but like she's had a victory on Dark, and now she's being featured on Dynamite.
Yeah, they had a nice little submission match. Well, not submission match, but like a test of submission, like to see who was the best.
Yeah, and not to mention with Leila Hirsch, like her first 2 matches in AEW were championship matches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like AEW thinks really highly of her, and they could definitely use her talent. Like, I feel like Leila Hirsch could be kind of like a Shayna Baszler-esque type for AEW, because I think Leila's got a MMA background.
Hashtag Shayna Baszler deserves better.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving on, but I digress. So match. Both are trying for their finishers. But ultimately, Britt Baker gets the lockjaw and taps out Leila. Only to be followed up by Thunder Rosa immediately after, beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that feud. I think Baker versus Rosa is going to be great. I have one little gripe about Britt versus Leila, and it's that I think that they did the spot where Leila was trying to lock in the cross-arm breaker a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, because like at first it was happening, and then you know, Britt had her hands locked together so she couldn't extend the arm, and then she turned it around and then went for the lockjaw. And I think if that was it right there, if that was the end of the match, that would have been fine. But then they did the exact same spot again, which was the end of the match. So I'm like,
I guess they wanted to draw it out a bit more, you know, trying to get more minutes in. So, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
And then later on, we got an interview with Kakadushita, following up her confrontation with Abaddon from last week.
Hold on one sec. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. Yeah. Oh my god, I am so excited for this story between Sheeta and Abaddon.
There was like it's very subtle and cleverly done. Like Hikaru's like, "Oh, I'm not afraid," and then something drops in the background. I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go. Bye."
That was funny, and like even leading up to it, like that kind of flusters her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can we do that again?"
Yeah, and it almost kind of reminded me of the that spot that Psycho Sid did back in WCW, where he messed up on his promo, but it was like, "Can we mess it up?" But no, we're live.
Yeah, because Marquez was like, "No, we can't. Bro. This is live TV," and then she was like, "Oh, I gotta go." She just walked away.
That was so well done. I love it.
She is funny when she wants to be. Anyway, so yeah, I and I really like Sheeta as the champion, but I just
I think it's time for a new champion. I think give it to Abaddon. She's ready.
I think Abaddon would be a great champion, and like she's got so much character, and the fact that she's like this super crazy dead chick is like it'd be believable for people to struggle to try to take the belt off of her, you know?
Mm-hmm. And with Britt Baker going after Thunder Rosa, that certainly gives NWA a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And but after that match, we get
what was after that match?
The tag team
team
of Cody Rhodes. We can now say his name. Thank God. Yes. We can now say his last name.
This is what you've been wanting to talk about, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs, or just Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know why they changed that, but Taz, you know.
I feel like Will Hobbs probably changed his name to.
Yeah.
Because the people in AEW, like, they have almost complete control of their characters. Like, AEW doesn't tell them, like, your name is going to be this. Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk.
Exactly. Then Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. This was a fun tag team match.
It was. And while I feel like this story is running a little bit on the long side, they are adding some nice new elements to it that's keeping it fresh and doesn't feel like it's been going on for 25 years. Like
especially one of them, but we'll get to that one in a little bit. Just hold on.
Yeah, this doesn't feel mundane and redundant like the Rollins versus Mysterio storyline felt.
Oh my God.
I almost cried with joy when that came to an end.
Rumor has it that's somewhere it's still happening.
Oh my God. Just like in some alternate universe, like the only thing that's on WWE television is Seth Rollins versus Mysterio.
Yep.
Oh man. Anyway, so yes, this was a really good match. And it, Darby Allin kind of got his ass kicked for most of it, but then, Cody got his hot tag. But I think they did a good job with letting Darby get the pinfall over Ricky Starks.
With the coffin drop.
Yes, the coffin drop is a good move. Because, Darby is the TNT champion, so he should be getting the pinfalls.
Mm-hmm.
And B, it also adds a layer of depth to the Starks versus Darby storyline, because I don't... no, actually, I think it's happened once or twice, but Ricky has not gotten wins over Darby very often. It's usually Darby getting the victories.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that adds a nice layer of depth to that. But then, after the match is over,
Powerhouse starts beating up on Darby. Because,
yes,
of course. Followed by Cody Rhodes again. Taz comes out. Then Dustin comes out to help them out. To help out the Nightmare family and Darby.
Arn Anderson comes out at some point.
Yep, and well, I think Arn Anderson was already in there, but
right,
started wailing on Hobbs and Starks before Brian Cage came out, and yeah.
So all that's going on, but then the lights go off. We hear this music playing. We see all this frosty terrain up on the screen.
In my head, I'm like, "What is going on?" And then I thought, "No way."
And who walked out, Felix?
Motherfucking Sting!
It's Sting. Sting is in AEW. And like during all of that, like he doesn't do anything. Like he just kind of struts out there. He pulls out his bat and he like stares at everybody in the ring one by one, and then he gets to Darby. First of all, I noticed that Darby Allin is the only one out of all four of those people that were in the ring that stood up to Sting and like stared him down.
Possible feud.
Yeah, and I think that uh, Sting could do a really great job of elevating Darby up to like superstardom, because a lot of people compare Darby Allin to Sting already.
Do they really?
I've heard a little bit of it. Like if anything, but for like the face paint get up. But yeah. And then right after, it's either during that or right after that, we find out that Sting has signed a multi-year deal with AEW. So he is going to be sticking around for a while.
I'm not gonna lie. I I was like screaming and crying when Sting's name appeared. I'm like, ah!
So
like I here's the thing. I'd never watched Sting when he was in WCW because
I didn't either.
But I did watch him a lot when he was in Impact in TNA, back in TNA, and I think I saw him perform live once at a pay-per-view. It's been a while. Yeah. But I mean, I got hooked on him immediately because he's just amazing.
Yeah, I was a really big fan of Sting when he was in TNA. I don't know too much of his WCW work.
I mean, I know a good number of his stuff in WCW, like but mostly just but I haven't seen that many matches except for a few with Ric Flair.
Yeah. So right after this, of course, there's immediately a divide among the fans. Like people are like, "Oh my God, it's Sting! Yay!" And then some other people are like, "Oh, AEW is bringing back more old people." Like, like how would people react if WWE did this? And then I'm sitting here thinking, WWE did do this. They did this with Sting. They did this exact thing with Sting back in like 2014,
and people loved it.
People loved it, yeah. So,
but and then people are going to make comparisons with Goldberg. But here's the difference between Sting and Goldberg. Sting can actually fucking wrestle. Yeah, I said it. Don't fucking at me. And he's good at it.
Yeah, I'm also not the biggest fan of Goldberg, but one thing I was talking about this with Alpha earlier. One thing that I really credit AEW for is that yes, they have brought in a lot of these old veteran wrestlers, you know, like Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho, Chris Daniels, all that good stuff. But they're not, aside from Chris Jericho, they're not really at the forefront of any of these people. And whenever they are there, they're usually there to build up some of the new stars. Like
exactly,
Chris Jericho made Orange Cassidy look like the most important person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Taz is building up all three of these people that are in Team Taz. Jake Roberts is doing it with Lance Archer.
Vicky Guerrero, doing it with Nyla.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like AEW is using these veteran wrestlers properly by, by pairing them up with upcomers to, maybe get them more experience or just make them appear like the most important people in the world. And that's not to say that WWE hasn't done it before. It's just like when Goldberg came back, Goldberg comes back, he challenges Bray Wyatt to a title match, and then immediately takes the title off of Bray Wyatt, who was arguably the most over person in WWE.
And they did it when Bray was the Fiend.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just take it off him as just normal Bray Wyatt? Like, that would have made more sense, honestly.
And even then, like, it's not even just that, but like they didn't have any reason whatsoever to put the Universal title on Goldberg.
They only brought him back. They only did it because it gave them a ratings boost.
Yeah, and especially because Goldberg dropped it a month later to fucking Braun Strowman of all people. But that was just because Roman Reigns couldn't be at WrestleMania
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Also, can we talk about how Roman Reigns is one of the best people in WWE right now?
What reality are we living in right now? My God.
No, for real. But oh my god, that the
Heel
whole
Roman is
the
so
whole
good.
the story, like the Universal Championship story between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman
Oh,
Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
I'm apparently an elder Fred now, but no, that story between Roman and Jay was one of the greatest stories I had seen in WWE for a long time. Like that shit had me fucking invested.
In terms of main roster stuff, that's the best thing going for him right now. But NXT will always be the best thing going for WWE in general. But I digress.
That's
We
not
digress.
there. Yeah. So anyway,
So,
I think Sting can bring a lot of positive stuff to AEW, and it was it was good to see him. I'm really hoping that he's not trying to overdo himself because he did really kind of get fucked up in that match with Seth Rollins, so I don't want him to get hurt.
He did have surgery, and he has recovered, thankfully.
That's good. Let's just hope. I'm kind of because like we've seen this before. Like Edge made his big miraculous comeback, and then he had 2 matches and he was injured again. Like we're just,
but not at the same, but not in the same area though.
Not in the same way, but like it's just these people are getting on in age, and it takes longer to heal when you're older. So I'm just so worried for everyone, but I'm really glad to see him.
I think Sting is wanting to do like one last hurrah before he like officially calls it quits. He's like 61 right now, so considering that his tenure in WWE was not great, I would totally understand why he'd want to.
Yeah, like he had a really really good run in TNA. Like he was the top guy there forever.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like if you were to have one final like wrestling feud, I think him and Darby Allin would be a really really good one.
I think so as well.
And like that would be his last one.
Like the passing of the torch.
Yeah, he puts over Darby, and then he moves to like a mentor, manager, producer kind of role.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, Sting is in AEW for quite some time now.
Yep.
And then let's see, and then it transitions right into the main event, does it not?
Yep. With Sami Callihan. No, with not Sam Callahan. Fucking
Sammy Guevara.
Well, I was not Sammy Guevara. No. Don Callis.
Don Callis. Okay. Yeah, he's on commentary.
I don't know why I said Sammy Callahan. I'm sorry. I don't know
Sammy
why I get
Callahan
those two confused for whatever reason. Maybe it's because their last names sound so similar. Callis, Callahan.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
And I think everybody under the sun wants to see John Moxley versus Sammy Callahan, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. John Callis versus no. Holy fuck! What is wrong with me?
John Moxley versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, with Don Callis on commentary as a guest commentary. As a guest commentator.
Yeah, and before this, John Moxley always has really great promos. And first of all, before we get into this, can we just talk about how John Moxley just casually announces that Renee Young is pregnant just in one of his promos? Like, first of all,
I got a pregnant wife at home, and like, oh.
We're all like, whoa, hold the phone.
What? So casually. Like, congrats?
Yeah, but no, for real. Like, from us at Low Blows and OwOs, congratulations to John and Renee for their baby.
Yes.
Anyway, so yes, John Moxley always kills it with his promo work. But then we get into it, and whenever the first thing I noticed whenever they started making their entrance is that there's still like 40 minutes left in the show, so we already know that this is going to be a long ass match.
Oh yeah,
and it was like half an hour.
Yep. Kenny Omega, having his new long drawn out theme of like all these credentials he's got, like.
He's held 16 singles titles throughout his career. He is oh god, I don't even remember. I think at one point in one of his intros, Justin Roberts said something about video games or whatever.
Yeah. but although all of them seem to include the state of North Carolina, I'm like, is Kenny currently residing in North Carolina right now?
I don't know. But yeah, or is John Moxley from North? No, he's from Massachusetts. I have no idea where.
No, he's from Cleveland, Ohio. But he's wrestling out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Gotcha. Okay, because whenever I heard something about North Carolina, I was like, is he just is he just saying that because it's also part of John Moxley's entrance? I don't know, but
because
apparently
as far as I know, he's currently residing in Florida because that's where AEW is.
Yeah. Anyway, this match was great. It was pretty much everything you'd expect from seeing Kenny Omega versus John Moxley, and they had that big unsanctioned match last year, which was also very good. The caveat to this one is that this one was not an ODQ match, so it was a lot more reserved than the other one that they had. They did not suplex themselves through a bed of barbed wire, which I appreciated.
Yeah, thank God. But it was still intense.
Yeah, I mean, John Moxley did give Kenny Omega a paradigm shift through like a fucking space heater, so.
And that was sort of the turning point of the match. And I'm not gonna lie. For a moment, I thought he was like I thought Kenny was like legit injured. I'm like, oh shit. Like,
yeah, I did.
That looked like a nasty landing.
He sold that well, and after that happened, I thought for a second, like, is John Moxley gonna retain?
Yeah, like Don Callis came down to
fucking Don Callis
to go check on him. But then Moxley brought Omega back into the ring to beat him up some more, and Callis is still outside with the mic, like, hey, stop, like, he's hurt. But yeah, then Moxley punches him, and Callis throws the mic into the ring. Kenny grabs it. I'm like, what is this?
He clocks Moxley right over the forehead with it.
Moxley showing color at this point, aka
he's
been busted open. Yep. Showing color is a term. Is the right term. And then hits like 4 V triggers.
Good lord, it was so many triggers.
And finally hitting the One-Winged Angel to become the new AEW World Champion. But it didn't last that long. He was in there for like maybe a few seconds before Don Callis
dipped.
Just like, hey, we gotta go. And it's like Alex Marvez trying to interview, like, hey, like, what's going on? What, like, if you want to, and Don was like, if you want an explanation, you're gonna have to wait until Tuesday. I'm like, wait, on Dark? Like, and Alex Marvez was like, but Dynamite's on Wednesday. I'm like, there is Dark, right? But then Don Callis was like, wait, you're gonna have to wait until Tuesday on Impact fucking Wrestling! Like, what?
What? Oh my god. AEW and Impact are in cahoots.
They are a working relationship with Impact Wrestling.
And
my god. How did I not see this coming? Oh my lord.
And that really took me by surprise, because that's not something that you see on like mainstream wrestling. Because like for 30 years, WWE has just been WWE in its own little circle. And of course, TNA, when it was on TV, it was just TNA. They would bring in a lot of old WWE people, but they didn't have like a working relationship with another wrestling company. But so now, now we can see AEW and Impact working together. Like, there's so much room for opportunity here, It's super cool.
And I think this was a successful heel turn, because how do you make a beloved superstar how do you make a beloved superstar hate you? Make them go to another. Have them go to another promotion with their top title.
Yeah,
Oh
for
my
real.
god, that is brilliant.
It's almost like fucking Medusa with WCW.
Only,
Only they're not throwing away the title in the garbage.
nope. At least
But
I don't think. I don't think they're gonna reprise
I,
that.
I would hope not. Like,
Probably not.
especially because like that belt is so pretty.
It is. It's beautiful.
Eventually, Felix and I are going to do an episode about our favorite title belts, and I'll tell you right now that is very high on my list.
We might. I think there's like a tier list we could do with that.
Oh, totally, yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that was it.
So that was AEW Dynamite.
Man, what a show! What a show! Like I was left slack jawed after it. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And also, can we note, now that Kenny Omega is the AEW champion, there is not a single AEW champion that is a former WWE superstar now.
You're right. I mean, well, if you want to be technical, he did wrestle in Ohio Valley Wrestling back in the back when OVW was their developmental territory, like way back when. But that did not last long at all.
No.
So so we're gonna say no.
Yeah, Kenny Omega is in no way, shape, or form a WWE guy.
Nope.
But yeah, great show, super entertaining, 10 out of 10. I'm really looking forward to see what's gonna happen next, because like there's so many different things that can happen.
Oh yeah, we also forgot about that one promo that the Acclaim did with the Young Bucks, setting up their match with the Hybrid too.
The fact that the Acclaimed rapped about the Young Bucks' dicks for like 2 minutes.
I'm like, okay, that might have been pushing it a little bit. Like, really?
Yeah.
Although I think that was just more to distract them from the fact that Hybrid 2 were about to attack them.
Because,
yeah. It looked like the Bucks were about to super kick them.
Yeah, super kick pate. But no, I'm really liking this feud, because I do think that TH2 has not been featured as much as they should have, which of course with this year it's because they were both stuck in Canada. But yeah, and I'm also really happy that they're finally starting to slowly get a lot of their roster members back. Like Pac is finally back. We had Shanna back on Dark this past week. So yeah, they're finally like all these people that really deserve this TV time that just have had it taken away from them. They're finally starting to come back.
Yeah, it's a shame we can't get our Japanese wrestlers back as well.
Yeah, I would really like to see
some of the like the Oriental Wrestling Entertainment guys as well. Like oh my god, I know his name. Fuck.
It'll come to you when you're trying to go to sleep tonight. You're gonna be laying in bed. You're gonna be like, "Oh shit, that's it." But yeah, no, AEW has been really great. They've officially been going on for over a year now, and they just had a really good first year. Kudos.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to see where this whole AEW and Impact thing is going to go. My theory behind it, because that they've been kind of teasing a secondary show. I kind of want to say that maybe
Shima. That's it.
Shima, there it is. Yeah, yeah. I kind of want to say that maybe Tony Khan bought Impact, and their secondary show is going to be like AEW Impact.
I mean, if that's,
I don't know.
I'd be super surprised if he bought Impact. That'd be very interesting if he did. But I don't think that's the case. Maybe they just have a standard working relationship like Ring of Honor do with New Japan, if they still have one.
Maybe, yeah. But I was just thinking that I wouldn't be mad at that if AEW did absorb Impact, because Impact has a lot of really great talent that I feel like deserves some true actual TV time and not just like Twitch.
Yeah, or they do technically have a TV deal with Access TV, which is New Japan, which is the same TV program that New Japan has.
Okay.
Which is very strange.
Yeah.
But
Either way, whatever happens, I'm really intrigued to see what's going on. Like, this honestly would probably make me watch Impact for the first time in years.
I've
haven't
seen snippets of it throughout the.
I haven't watched TNA since like 2008.
I haven't watched it since since like 2012 maybe. Oh, actually, no, I did, but then I did. No, I watched plenty of Impact when Broken Hardy was starting to come around.
Gotcha.
That was some good shit.
Yeah. Well, we are pulling up on an hour here, so I think it's about time for us to wrap it up.
So let's give our final thoughts on Dynamite real quick. So honestly, this show was absolutely phenomenal, top to bottom, and honestly, it's one of the best wrestling shows I've seen. It's one of the best I've seen in a long time.
I'd agree. I think this was a very good episode. It's very top notch up there.
I felt like a kid again when Sting came out.
Yeah, they're definitely banking on that nostalgia.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a very good show. I think overall, I'd probably rate it a 4.5 out of 5.
I rated a 5 out of 5. That was phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah, good show. Excited to see where it's gonna go. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and it's not low blows and OWOs for nothing. Unfortunately, there is one low blow that I do want to bring up, and that is the recent passing of WWE's first ever Intercontinental Champion, who was also one of the first openly gay wrestlers and the creator of the Royal Rumble match, Pat Patterson.
Yeah, that I was really bummed to hear about that, because Pat Patterson really contributed a lot to the wrestling world, and was a good role model for us in the LGBT plus community that's in wrestling. So that was a pretty big blow, and our hearts and thoughts go out to Pat's family and friends, and we're just really sorry to hear this.
We're sorry to end this episode on a kind of a low note, but
yeah, but it's definitely important that we address it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Felix.
My name is Fab Fox.
And we shall see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.